Hello guys, I'm Tana, your host, and welcome to Different Shades Make a Change, where young people talk Black history. Our topic in today's podcast is institutional racism in the police, and our guest for today is Stephen Reeds.
Hello.
Stephen, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So since our topic is institutional racism in the police, systematical racism has been in the news a lot lately. The Met Police has been in the news a lot as well, and not for positive reasons.
That's right. But hopefully in our chat today we can highlight some of the positives because the mainstream media only like to report the bad news.
That makes sense. So before we start, let's define institutional racism. Institutional racism is like discrimination or unequal treatment. In your honest opinion, would you say that there is systematic injustice in the Met Police?
Well, as a police officer, I'm not actually allowed to give an opinion in a professional capacity. I'm not trying to fob you off there, but ultimately opinion is pretty irrelevant. The statistics and a recent report by Baroness Casey has shown that there are issues around disproportionality within the police, like there is within the justice system as a whole and other areas of society. So it's not just the police. Our Commissioner, Sir Mark Rowley, has rejected the term institutional racism. He calls it ambiguous. And I think it does tend to imply that racism is a fundamental pillar of the organisation as opposed to a side effect of operating within a society where racism exists.
Yeah.
I've worked in the Metropolitan Police for 14 years now, and I can confidently say that nothing in our rules or procedures is racist. I think the issue is the law is very impersonal. Okay, so people can feel very depersonalised and feel like they're not being treated with compassion, and those negative feelings can persist and they can be passed on through peer groups, so friends, family, that sort of thing. Especially if these people don't have any positive interactions with police to help balance it out.
Yes. So looking back at Stephen Lawrence, murderer in the 19s, following the Macpherson report in 1999, he said the police response to murder of Stephen Lawrence defined institutional racism as the collect failure of the organization to provide an appropriate and professional service to people because of their color, culture, or ethnic origin. It can be seen or detected in processes, attitudes, and behavior which amount to discrimination through writing, procedure, ignorance, thoughtless, and racist stereotypes which disadvantage meritorious and ethnic people. We are now in 2023, but not much has changed. Young people don't trust in the police. What are the police doing to improve this relationship?
Okay, so as you say, the Macpherson report was decades ago, and things have been done since then, and still more needs to be done. Society is always changing, so therefore the police needs to change along with it. So last year, the National Police Chiefs Council and the College of Policing set out a new plan called the National Police Race Action Plan, and it aims to improve policing for Black people. That's Black people in the police and also in the public. And its key message is that we have to do more than just not be racist. We have to actively be anti-racist.
Oh wow. Let's talk about racial stereotyping and disproportionality. For an example, gangs. Not every young person in a hoodie walking on the street is a gang member. Young people feel like they're being judged by the police and everyone.
Well, the sad truth is a lot of crime, street crime in certain areas of London is carried out by young people and in some cases even children. And so it's logical that police then interact with young people to investigate that crime and to ensure public safety. They're not doing it just for no reason. It's because it's young people who are involved in crime, and so we want to protect those children as much as we want to solve the crime as well. If street robbery and drug dealing was being carried out by old women, then police would disproportionately be stopping old women out there. But we have to be evidence-led. Okay, so that means what we observe people doing, or information from witnesses, members of the public perhaps. Okay, we can't decide to stop and search someone based only on their appearance. And if we thought a police officer, a colleague of ours was doing that, we would have to stop. We would stop them and report them. I know I certainly would, because police officers like that make it worse for everyone, for police and for the public.
Yeah. Let's talk about stop and search and your opinions.
Okay, so the main reason that we use stop and search is to allow police officers to investigate suspected crime there and then on the street. It's a lot faster and efficient, because the alternative would be that we had to arrest that individual, take them back to the police station, search them there, and then go from that point. So stop and search protects the public, because we find weapons, we find drugs, so we can prevent crime, we identify offenders, and hopefully through that we can improve the public's confidence in the police service. We understand that it can be embarrassing and inconvenient to be stopped by a police officer for a few minutes, but every time we find a knife, for example, that's potentially a life saved, and I would hope that people would think that's more important.
Yeah. And that's it for this week, and thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to Stephen for coming to the show.
Thank you so much, Janelle. It's been a pleasure talking to you. It's been a pleasure to be here. And to everyone watching, my advice would be, please don't be scared or intimidated by police. We're only here to help and to investigate crime. That's our main thing. We're trained investigators, and so if that includes perhaps having to speak to you in the street, maybe search you, please don't feel intimidated. Please try and stay calm and cooperate with the officers as much as possible.
That's it for this week, and thank you so much for joining us and everyone in the camera. We hope to see you next week in Different Shades Make a Change.